Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Let me begin by thanking the outgoing chairperson of the WHO Executive Board, Dr. Hiroki Nakatani, for steering the organization towards excellence. Thank you, Dr. Nakatani. I wish you all the best in all your future endeavors. Distinguished members of WHO, Executive Board, Director General of WHO, Excellencies, representatives of member nations, all regional directors, heads and representatives of UN agencies and partner organizations, and staff of WHO. This moment fills my heart with joy, one in which I yearn to rise in response to the warm and cordial honor which you all have bestowed upon me. And yet, at the same time, my heart feels heavy with grief as more than 330,000 precious lives have been lost and there is economic turbulence all over the world. Before I start my address, let me pay my homage to the hundreds of thousands who have lost their lives. My heartfelt condolences to those families across the world who have lost their near and dear ones to this deadly pandemic. As a doctor by profession, it hurts me even more that despite great strides in science and medicine, we are still at the mercy of tiny pathogens. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel deeply honored to have the trust and faith of all of you. India and all my countrymen too feel privileged that this honor has been bestowed upon us. I have had a long personal association with WHO. I was privileged to come in contact with the organization way back in the early 90s during the initial years of my public life, when I was personally spearheading many missions in which we journeyed together and built an emotional bond. I have nostalgic memories of the WHO team with whom I worked very closely during my mission to eradicate poliomyelitis from India. I had the privilege to be appointed to prestigious committees of the WHO like SAGE and the Global Technical Consultative Group on Polio Eradication. I even served as an advisor to the organization, and I confess that if it had not been for the support and morale boosting by friends in WHO, I would not have delivered and achieved what I did. If today polio stands eradicated from India, I must admit it could never have been possible without the perseverance of WHO. Excellencies, I am aware that I am entering this office at a time of global crisis on account of this pandemic, at a time when we are fighting to simply stay alive, and at a time when we all understand that there are going to be many urgent health challenges in the next 2 decades. All these challenges demand a shared response because these are shared threats requiring shared responsibility to act. And of course, this is also the core philosophy of our alliance of member nations that comprise WHO. However, it needs a greater degree of shared idealism of nations. Friends, I have long nurtured a dream. It is about the health of my fellow citizens of the world. And I believe that health is central to economic performance and to enhancing human capabilities. However, public health policy must be based and guided on a proper understanding of nature. This is also the underlying principle of the Indian traditional systems of medicine based on holistic health and wellness, which I have lived and experienced. I have also the privilege of being the Health Minister of India, a country of 1.35 billion people. Led by a dynamic Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, we have devised an ambitious national health policy that aims at universal health for all. Our flagship health initiative called Ayushman Bharat aims at providing free health insurance to over 500 million people, making it the world's largest health insurance scheme. And we dream of making it bigger, ensuring it for each and every Indian. If a developing nation like India can dream of this level of health for all policy, the rest of the world has to think beyond this. When India decides, it performs. We eradicated smallpox and polio in our country at a time when there was abject poverty. More recently, we faced the threat of COVID-19 in a proactive and preemptive way with unmatched scale and determination. Today we have a mortality of 3% only. In a country of 1.35 billion, there are only 0.1 million cases of COVID-19. The recovery rate is above 40% and the doubling rate is 13 days. We have to admit that the current pandemic has demonstrated the vulnerability of humankind to exigencies, recognizing that we have to strive to act with greater speed and predictability. The pandemic has made humanity acutely aware of the consequences of ignoring the strengthening and preparedness of our healthcare systems. In such times of global crisis, both risk management and mitigation would require further strengthening of global partnerships to energize interest and investment in global public health. We also need to make higher commitments in respect of diseases that have plagued humankind for centuries. We need to conquer the adversaries with collaborations and by supplementing each other by pooling our resources. We need an aggressive roadmap to curtail deaths from diseases that can be eliminated. We need a fresh roadmap to address global shortages of medicines and vaccines. I would like to work with all of you on these goals and roadmaps. My personal motto is to protect the health of those without wealth. That is also one of the core philosophies of WHO. Propelled by the great history of the organization, WHO, and having been bestowed this honor of taking over as the chairman of the executive board, I ask myself, what more can we do together? In some respects, I am a votary of self-healing. I feel that we need to introspect and see what reforms we can undertake from time to time. There are fault lines in almost any health system. WHO is already providing thought leadership to the entire world in the sphere of public health, engaging in partnerships where joint action is needed, shaping the research agenda, and stimulating the dissemination of valuable knowledge. WHO believes in the principle that the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of health is one of the fundamental rights of every human being without distinction of race, religion, political belief, economic or social condition. We therefore commit to work with the member states, the organization and the global community of partners for the efficient, effective, and responsive discharge of public health obligations. There is always scope as well as the need to catalyze further change. It is that fundamental belief which will be our guiding principle. Friends, today has been a great honor for me. With this personal honor, I also feel a deep sense of personal responsibility. I am sure that constant engagement with member states and other stakeholders will reinforce reforms and help accelerate progress towards achieving sustainable development goals and universal health coverage with the most productive, efficient, and targeted utilization of resources. I will put myself to work to realize the collective vision of our organization, to build the collective capacity of all our member nations, and also build a heroic collective leadership. I may or may not get there, but I can surely try, and I promise to try my best.